One welcomes you to this special Jubilee edition of Learning Haskell. Hi. So, I'm going to keep working on the Haskell command line application that uses servant client to talk to the servant server that I was writing. And so far I've got it to list the environments and to be able to create new environments as well and get a particular environment. And then at the end of last week, I got it to list bookings as well. So the plan for today is to finish off this client if I can. So I want to look at creating bookings. I guess that might be the bulk of the time because it might be a little bit tricky. I might need to do some work on specifying start time. But that's the plan for today. And then if there's any time left, I might look at adding another endpoint to the back end to say, give me only the available environments. But I don't know if I'll get time or not. But that's basically the plan. Try and finish off writing this command application. Okay, I need to move my tube by the way. Okay, so this is the code we had last week. This is the code that lists all the bookings. So actually, if I go back up to the command parsing, this is list endpoint, and it takes a single argument, which is the ID that we want. And then in the run, if you pass in list booking command, it calls run list bookings, and run list bookings here. It's given the ID of the environment, and we call this endpoint, which is list bookings. We pass in the environment ID. We get back a list of bookings, and we just call this print booking multiple times for each thing in that list. I'm just going to check it still works because I had to restart Docker just make sure it's up and running again. So if I say this is one using stack, servers don't exist. Good point. I need to say stack run cookie server. Okay, and grab a new window. Try that again. Okay, cool. We've only got one booking in there, but at least it's working. Okay, so we're talking to the back end. We're getting the data back. This formatting is not lovely, but it's kind of okay, I guess. Yeah, I might look at prettying that up a bit actually, because we could say, if it's today, we could say today. And if the 2 days is the same, we don't need to print the data out twice, those kinds of things. But let's not do that now. So what I want to do now is add a new thing, so I can say booking create. Now to do this, we'll have to pass in the ID of the environment. And then we need a start time and a duration. Duration, we wrote some clever stuff for, I think. So we could say start time, I don't know what we do about it, but duration, you can say stuff like 1 hour. I might need to quote that. I'm wondering how to do this, because this might work as a first cut, right? So I can quote stuff so they come through as individual arguments, hopefully. And then we could say, and then we could put some parsable date format in here, I guess. It'd be quite nice to say today, or in fact, probably now, actually, rather than today. As well as saying things like tomorrow, but also, I guess, a fixed date. If I do them as quoted arguments, and hopefully I can get them back as individual arguments from parsec, and then use them just to send to the back end. I think it should be okay. I think the time format I was using when I was calling it was curl was something like this, where we 06, 02, oops, and then T and then the time. I think it's like a I can't remember, RC 3601 or something, whatever the format is for times. Then we could say that hopefully you don't need to dot zero. But we can do this, and then we'll say dead. So I think this is the kind of command I want to pass in, at least for the initial version. And then just send it to the back end and see what happens. So I'll create this endpoint and tell it to take the ID and then 2 strings. Okay, let's just try doing that, and then we can try and make it a bit better if we get that to work. So up here, we have the list. I'm just going to copy the get from above. So there's also endpoint for calling create. It's going to be the create booking command, which doesn't exist yet. You'll have a whole bunch of arguments, which I'm hoping I can just join together. Oops. Let me go up here and add this in. So we can say create booking command. It's going to take an int 64, and then I think I just want to take 2 strings. I might come back and look and see if opt-args applicable with any kind of date handling. But for now, let's do it as strings, and we'll just throw it at the back end and see what the back end does with it. Okay, so we're going to take I'm going to split over multiple lines, getting a bit long. Can we split over multiple lines? Oh, that should have indented. So anyway, so we'll take an argument auto, and we can say metavar ID again. Oh, n by d, sorry. What I called it before. To make that clear. And then what happens? Can we say that? So we'll take a string argument. A metavar will be start time. Why is those capitalized? Not very nice. And then we can have a string argument. And then metavar, and it's going to be duration. Okay. So in theory that should work, right? We should be able to get a couple of strings out of it, and then we'll just pass them to the back end, see what happens. So we can say run options. Oh, maybe I'll fix. No, I'll fix it in a second. That I noticed that at the end of last week, it really annoyed me. I don't need options anymore. There are no options, so we could just return the command instead. Just sort of pattern matching against options when options only has the command is a bit pointless. So create booking command, and it's got an n by d and a start time and a duration, and it's going to run create booking n by d start time and duration. So the problem with that is it doesn't exist yet, and I will go and add it. So run create booking have the same type signature here. So it's all going to run under the CLI, but we're going to have an int 64, we're going to have a string, we have another string, and it's going to run under CLI. in this second monad, which will probably just be IO. So run create booking, m by d start time duration equal to do. So endpoint will need to get. I don't think I set this one up, but we can say asks create booking, and then we can say run request. And how are we going to print this out? We'll just pass in print, I guess. I don't know what comes back from it. And then the endpoint m by d start time and duration. Okay, so we currently don't have create booking available. So let's go down here, so we can say create booking goes from int 64. Ooh, what does happen here? Because for create environment, we're passing in a new environment, so it's possible that this create booking actually goes from a new booking. And client name of maybe booking. I don't know if this is correct or not. Okay, so we don't have new booking in scope, but it does exist. So maybe we do need to create this. Okay, and down here, we need to pass in create booking. So this is the last thing here, I think. That's the endpoint. And then here, it's only partially applied it, so you can say create booking. Okay, type is slightly wrong. So it wants it doesn't make sense. It's saying it wants no arguments. It's int64 to new booking to client M. Okay. Right, so the new booking is just information about the booking itself, but the ID is being passed in separately. Okay, so this will not be broken in our endpoint because it doesn't take m by d and start time and start duration. I need to create this new booking thing. And what has new booking got in it? So it wants a time. So we want some way of parsing this string into a time. Okay. Is that what we want to do? Because I was thinking I could do some stuff like, I could support saying now or today or tomorrow, whatever, as well as supporting explicit date times. But the trouble with that is I don't want to do the parsing of dates in the CLI. I just want the CLI to take something and pass it to the back end. So it feels like they should actually be taking a string and it should say, I'm going to interpret this and work out the start time from it on the back end, not in the front end. For now, what I might do is just say, I might just get the current time. Oops. If you have a look at the test for a second, we did something where we create a booking. So many actually be new booking. We just call get current time. Okay, we'll just do that. Now to do that, I need to go to the Cabal file. This is annoying, but I need to tell. I need to give the CLI access to time, the time library. Run process for a bit. This we'll just say now. I need to lift over this. Oh. Okay. And I can't just pass and print because it doesn't know what type I'm getting back, I think. So because it's a maybe booking, actually, I could just print that. I'm going to pull this out. And why is that now an error? Oh, because of an error up here. I think maybe. Nope. Why does that not pattern match properly? Bit confused by that. Because of that. Okay. Now I can replace this print with print maybe booking. And I do the same thing as above, like I did for in run create. Oh, it's actually maybe print booking. Maybe print booking. Okay, where maybe print booking is maybe, and I will say put Sterling. Oh, that's right. We didn't know what to do for the error. It's a typo above as well for not printing anything. Anyway, print booking. Nothing to show. Okay. So now what's the problem? Can match type booking with entity booking. Ah. Yeah, okay. So the thing that comes back from create is not of type booking, it's of type entity booking. Where is this thing? When I call create the environment, I thought that came back as entity environment, but maybe it doesn't. Let's have a look. Create environment comes, okay, sorry, list bookings is the one that's coming back as a list of entity bookings, whereas the create booking is maybe booking. So we could reconstruct the entity, but that seems a bit awkward. Okay, I'm going to re-inline this. So print booking. You say where that. Okay, so here you can say print booking of type booking to IO and print booking. I'll destructure the booking, I think. I'm just say put through in. And I just grab this. Don't do that. Let's do that. We can tally up later, right? But this is just to print something out. Okay, so when I create a booking, it'll ignore the second argument, just use the current time, and then it should be able to understand the duration. I hope anyway. So it doesn't matter what this is, but we can put this as something like 3 hours. Something. Okay, so it's booked from today, right now, including nanoseconds is useful, for 3 hours. Okay, that works, fine. Okay, so how do we deal with the time then, the start time? Because I don't, like I said, I don't really want to parse it in this client. I just want to send it to the back end to deal with. So let's have a look at booking. What I really want to do is make that a string, I think. But then I'll need to do some conversion of that string value into a time. Okay, let's have a look at time. Package time. Have I got any parsing in here? Actually, we could search for the type, couldn't we? So we're going to go from a string to a, oh, what's the type? A UTC time. Okay. There are not a lot of things going from string to UTC time. Okay, is there a read instance for UTC time? Stack REPL. Don't want anything. Import time. Data time. Data time. Data.time. Okay. And can we say something like, I'm just going to make sure I got the syntax right before I do anything clever. So can we do that as an int? No. We're using ReLUde. What is reads? No. Is there like a read maybe? Yes. So can we call read maybe for to maybe int type maybe int? Okay, cool. So can we say 2022-06-02T 210000 Z. Nothing. Okay, it cannot parse at time. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let me say now equals UTC time. It wasn't UTC time, it was like current time or something. Is it current time? What's it called? Local time? UTC time lowercase. I'm actually going to look this up rather than just guessing. In here, get current time. Okay. So now is get current time. Right. So it's using that kind of format. So can we read that? Oh, we can. Okay, cool. Can we read that? No. Need a timestamp, and it won't take. It'll take Z. Yes. Okay. Okay, just I got my format slightly wrong before. So if I do .0, no. Okay, I'll stick with this approach. So I can call read maybe with this kind of time, structured time. Did I need the time zone? I forget already. It's so long. Yeah, I do need the time zone. Even though I'm telling it's UTC time. Okay, it's possibly not the best way of doing things, but it should kind of work. So we can say let start time so you just say read maybe, because that's the only thing we have of it access to. Read maybe, and we're going to read new booking from B. Okay. I don't need to tell it what type it is because it should be able to work out when I use it, I think. So you can say kiss start time of, so I'm going to do problem matching. There we go. So kiss start time of nothing. If we don't have a start time, oh, what are we going to do? We could just default to now. I'm just going to write a helper function for this. So we can say start time will take a string and I'll return a UTC time. So start time S is case read maybe of S, actually. You see that? Of nothing this needs to be under IO, annoyingly. Does it have to be okay, current time. Okay, and just T is pure just T. No, it's pure T, sorry. Okay. It's not equals, it's the wrong syntax. Okay. Okay, so now that we can get it, we can say start time is start time comes from, I've got two things called start time, so that's not great. Let's call this and call this parse time. So start time is parse time of new booking from B. And again, we're going to need to lift IO this. Okay. And here, we can say start time. And here, we're going to pass in the start time. So we can say start time, S is seconds, I guess. Okay, and then we just pass it in here. Right, so now in theory, going back to the CLI, now when we call new booking, we don't want to pass in now. We want to pass in the just a string that we got, which here is the string start time. Okay, so we got a couple of errors. Let's work through them. So couldn't match type character with UTC time. I don't know why it hasn't picked up. That's different. That's nonsense error. That's just a spec. Okay. Right. Back here. So booking. I'm saying new booking, and new booking from should be a string. So when I'm calling new booking here, it should be a string. However, it doesn't seem to think that's the case. So if I have a look at the API to create a booking, it says it takes a new booking. So I wonder if this is a problem with HLS and template Haskell. It's me being optimistic. Like it hasn't picked up the change. I don't think that's going to be the case. So I write it 06, 02, and then 21 colon 0000, and then UTC, that should be valid. We'll do it from tomorrow, just to make it easier to find. Probably won't compile. Oh, it did compile, that's interesting. Okay, so the error I'm getting from HLS is actually wrong at this point, because it is now expecting a string, but it didn't take that string properly. Is that right? I don't know if this is right or not. Restart the LSP server, see if the error comes back. So I don't have 5 errors. And it's right, actually, okay. Where to go is show that thing. And booking 2 will be also show. I'm just sending it back into string so I can pass them to the server for it to turn them back into times, because that is the best way of doing things. Again, in the spec, okay. Not going to let me do that. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, cool. So we got rid of the errors, but it doesn't work. That's the problem we have. If I bring up, I can find the server, it might tell me what went wrong. So start time, end time, duration. Start time. Oh, that's end time, isn't it? Start time is here. Okay, I don't think that is... I think it's what I set to be now. I don't think that's the last request I ran. So it's something wrong, bad request, but I don't know what the request is. Okay. Let me just, oh, not that window. Let me check that the spec still runs. Because that should now also be sending strings through. Okay, so I can definitely still send a string through and get it to work. So that's not the problem. But for some reason when I'm trying to create the booking, it's start time here is not valid. The thing is, it shouldn't reject it if it can't parse it. It's just default to be now. It's not a great behavior, but it does mean that I shouldn't get bad requests back. So if I put some kind of nonsense, and I'll book it for 1 hour, 1 hours, I still get bad request. Okay, I take it nothing new in the server. Nothing obvious in there. So I don't understand why this is now a bad request. So print error is the thing. So if we got a failure response, then we bring this out. Otherwise, we're just saying show E. And I think we're getting into, like, I think this show E is just bad request. Let me just prove that. Generic error. Okay. Nope. We're not in that clause at all. Okay. So I guess we're here. So we've got status message error, response status code, status message error. Okay, we just put in the status message. What else have we got in the status? Oh, I can't jump to the definition of that. What's the type of status? It's HTTP types status. And this is, oh, servant core response. Let's have a look at that. And actually, do we use the request anywhere? I don't think we do. So maybe I could just say something like show request. Brackets, obviously. It might tell me a bit more information about what we're sending. Okay, so we're sending a post. That's good, I guess. So you can see it, the URL. That's not super exciting. I want to see the actual data we're sending to bookings. But I can't see it here. Okay, so I'm not seeing the post body. So I'm missing something, but I can't see like booking from or anything like that or duration in there. Okay. It's a bit annoying. So all I know is I'm getting bad requests back. Oops. Does that work? It's not very helpful. This is create booking. Oh, that's all I wanted. Also not what I wanted. It's like run create booking or something. Yep. Okay, so when I'm creating the environment, the only argument it takes is this new environment type, which has got a single field inside it. When I'm creating the booking, the endpoint takes two arguments, takes the ID and takes this new booking with two fields in it. Is that right? So create booking takes an ID and then takes new booking. New booking has got two fields, two strings. Okay, and then I'm calling it with the start time and its duration, which I should have parsed out of the arguments being passed in. For some reason, I'm getting bad requests when I do that. I've got a left in curl that I can run. X, D. What's the endpoint? Endpoint's called bookings. Getting the bookings back. Here we go. Okay, so this is posting. To environment bookings. So if I do this one, it should create booking, I think. Oh. So I'd replace booking from just with from, I think. Yeah, okay, that creates it fine. So that string works. And it parses properly for some reason. That's weird. But if I try and do the same thing, here, so I can say 2022, well, slightly different date. But something formatted like this for 3 hours, which means does not work. Oh, that did work. Okay. Confused now. So when I was trying to read before, I needed to do the format like this. But when I try and do that and pass it, maybe it's the spaces that break it, I don't know. But okay, it looks like I can format a string like this and pass it back in, then it gets parsed. Okay, cool. Okay, so now if I do something which is like nonsense, it doesn't accept that at all. So I don't know why it's why it thinks that's a date. It has to be a date. I don't know what's spotting this is wrong, because if I look at the API, it just takes a new booking type. Oh, for goodness sake, John. Right, the reason it's broken is because I didn't restart the server. I changed the interface. I forgot to restart the server. Okay, so now if I, now if I do this, it should just default it to now. It shouldn't accept that. Yeah, because I told it to do 0603 and did 0602. It just did now. Right, got it. And then same if I send in nonsense. All that debugging because I forgot to restart the server. Okay. Right, so we could add a couple more things to the back end to parse the start time. But I don't think I will. I think I've got a few minutes left, so I might just look at printing this out a bit better. Actually, if I get the environment, or if I just get the bookings for one, the bookings list one, I have a lot of bookings in there, which is kind of cool, I guess. And then I would get it's on the end list, environment, environment list. Okay, staging is booked, obviously because I have a lot of bookings against it. If I book it from now for 2 hours, I'm just going to write now to make myself feel better, even though it's the same parsing. Oops, I want to do that against 4. And then list environments, it's now booked. Okay, cool. So it is working. Yeah, so let's look at printing out. Bookings. Is it bookings or booking? I can't remember. Booking list one. Did I mean bookings? Yes, I did. Okay, I might try and just pre-print this a bit so the date is the same. Then I'll try and print it differently. How do I get just a date? Go back to our time package. Actually show me UTC time, wherever that lives. Where are we now? Data time clock. Okay, cool. Tell me what the resolution I want. I want to go from UTC time to something. UTC day. UTC T day. Okay, so it's only goes from UTC time to a day. Oh, sorry, the function is called UTC T day. Okay, so let's bring up the REPL again. So then data.time, I'm going to say now equals get current time. Okay, and then UTC T day of now. Okay, cool. So we got our 2 times. We can check if they're the same day, and if so, print a better version. So print booking. Better print booking. And this is going to go from a booking to an IO. Oops. What am I doing? To an IO. And then we can destructure it at this point. So we say booking. Booking start time and booking end time. Right, so if they're the same date, can we put a guard here? You say same date. Put Lynn. And then we can say booked. And then we can print the date. And then yeah, then I like to say, you know, kind of from, and then the start time, and then to, and then the end time. But let's put this up bit by bit actually, because we can say otherwise is this thing. Where same date is booking start time, but it's not that, it's actually UTC-T day of that is equal to UTC-T day of booking end time, but without all the typos. Okay, and then date, we'll just do UTC-T day of booking start time. I can't call it date. Let's call it, oh, I can. I didn't show it, same thing. Okay, and then I'm listing them. We will destructure it, and then we'll just call better print booking of the booking, and then we'll just get rid of this destructuring here. We don't need it. Okay. Right, let's try just running it. Okay, so they're all on the same date. And there's a UTC-T day time. It's a time from midnight, but in seconds. So what can we do with our diff time? I'm kind of pretty printing it. I could maybe just try printing diff time. So we'll have to REPL again. Port data.time. Now is get current time. Time of day is UTC T day time of now. What's it look like? Okay. And then show it. Oh, it is showing it. Okay, so that's not super helpful. What can we do with our diff time? In select time measured by a clock, we can turn to seconds, but seconds isn't super useful. We kind of want the time of day in some helpful way. I mean, how do we print out just the times of day? So we don't want to turn it to seconds. What can we do diff time? We want to I don't know time of day. I want to go to something. There's some nice representation of it. I can quickly write one. So I was call this nice time. Sometime. Right. How are we going to do this? So if we can kind of modulo it 24. No, sorry, 3600 to get the hours. Can we even do that? How do you get modulo? Is mod? 3600. From integral. Oops. What's it saying here? From integer, we'll treat it as seconds. Oops. Diff time to picoseconds is really not what I want. But it's only way to get an integer out of it, I think. It's supposed to be really quick and it's not. So you say if time to picoseconds, time of day. divided by, and some big number. Picosecond is, oh, what's nanoseconds? Oh, it's only in seconds. Just so I can divide it by some number. It doesn't seem right though, right? There must be an easier way of converting time. Diff time spec. What's that do? Oh no. Diff time to time of day. What is a time of day? In the package called hourglass. Seems like the thing that I want. Don't want to implement. So hourglass hopefully is available, and then I can pull in time.compat. See if that works. And the function is called diff time to time of day. From so diff time to time of day, and that gets applied to UTC T day time of some time. Okay, and we'll call this time of day. So from plus time of day of booking start time. Okay. With times type time of day. Okay, does that work? Absolutely not. Okay, is there a helper for time of day then? Not really. Okay, we won't show it then. So it's got Todd R, Todd min. So we can say that Todd equals, I don't want to redefine this. So we'll let that equal that. So we have time of day, so we can pull out .r, is that a string? No, it's R's. And what's this? Ordinal of some kind, numeric of some kind. Couldn't match expect type time of day with actual type times type time of day. Wow, I have the wrong type here. Okay, I'm going to give up. Time's getting on. Maybe I'll come back and fix this at some point. I was just trying to get a nicer output, but it's turned into a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so where do we get to? We can now create bookings, and we can list environments, and we can see whether or not they're available and so on. And we don't need to use curl anymore. We can now use a command line tool, but it's not great. But it kind of works. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Next week, I'll have to come back and tidy this up some more. Might be interesting actually to go and work out how to format the times properly. I might do that, or I might move on to a different type of client. I'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you next week. Goodbye. Goodbye.